I'm just going to start with this. Is anybody still pissed off about the loss to the Seattle Seahawks? Because, I'm making this at about 2 in the morning right now, and I'm still pretty freaking fired up about the game, man. And do I think this is a season-altering game and that the Lions are going to lose out? No, I don't. But I genuinely haven't been this pissed off over a game since last year at the Vikings or the year before with the Ravens. But what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Rampage, and this is my honest reaction to how the Seattle Seahawks versus Detroit Lions game went. So please remember to leave a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel, because the more you like and subscribe, the more other Lions fans can see it. And plus, we're almost at 3,000 subscribers, so I'd greatly appreciate it. Now, I think it's important to note, starting off, that there were actually a lot of positives in this game despite the negative and loss. And let's start with the biggest positive. The entire NFC North lost this weekend, so you're still in it, Lions. The Chicago Bears aren't getting any help from Justin Fields. The Vikings can't close out close games, even though Kirk Cousins throws for 4 touchdowns and 430 yards. And the Green Bay Packers, we'll see. But through the first 2 weeks of the season, the NFC North looks like complete garbage, and it's for the Lions taking this year. And number 2, boys and girls, I think Jared Goff has answered the question that he is the franchise and long-term solution for quarterback for this team. Despite throwing a pick 6 on the day, he had an 80% completion percentage, completing 28 out of 34 passes, 323 yards with 3 TDs, and a QBR rating of 121. And despite having Decker and later Vitae out of the game, he looked really, really good. And obviously, he broke his streak with consecutive passes without an interception. But to me, he almost seemed perfect in the first half after his second touchdown pass. He completed 11 of 12 passes for 141 yards. And after the pick 6, he quickly brushed it off and orchestrated a 10-play, 75-yard scoring drive, which ended with a 4-yard touchdown pass to Josh Reynolds. And I'm just going to say this. I think Josh Reynolds has the 3rd best hands on this team behind Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown. The dude has been an absolute stud these past 2 games, and even going back to last year. And him and Goff brought it back late in the 4th quarter, 31-28. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, guys, as you know, is always a stud. Every single week he plays, it seems like he does something insane. He had 6 receptions for over 100 yards. And the guy that gets me most excited for this offense is Sam Laporta, the rookie. And quite frankly, he reminds me of George Kittle a little bit with the yards after catch. I mean, he's just insane, and I think he's going to be better than TJ Hawkinson was for this team. I also really loved his run blocking on the 2 tight end sets. And on the day, he would have 5 receptions for 63 yards. And all in all, I'm really pleased with how this offense has been rolling. Ben Johnson, I thought, was really creative yesterday. And I especially loved that flea flicker and that pitch to Cleave. And when JMO gets back, oh my fucking god, this offense is going to be even more scarier. 31 points, dude. One of the highest in week 2. The run defense was the only defense that was good on the day. This is the 2nd week in a row that they limited an opponent to under 100 yards rushing. Kenneth Walker was held to just 43 yards and Charbonnet just 16 on 4 carries. I mean, given how successful Geno Smith was in the passing attack, there was no reason to run the ball. And now it's time to let out and get angry and vent to you guys because, man, the defense really pissed me off, and I felt like I was going to break my TV watching that. Let's start with the pass rush. It is utterly embarrassing when there are 2 tackles, starting tackles, out of the lineup, and you're going against backup tackles. And Evan Brown, the center who was a backup on the Lions, went out in the middle of the game, and your pass rush cannot do jack shit. And it's really hard to when Aiden Hutchinson is getting double teamed a lot, and he's getting held a lot too. Romeo Okwara and Charles Harris were non-existent today, and it's really funny to me, the interior defensive line was not on the stat sheet at all. Aleem McNeil, Benito Jones, and Levi Onwuzurike did absolutely nothing, and you can look it up. Nothing. And honestly, it's no wonder why Geno looked like an MVP candidate back there and why the secondary got torched. Like, honestly, guys, if I'm Brad Holmes right now, I'm on the phone with every GM right now seeing if I can trade for a defensive tackle. I'd especially be on the phone with Chris Ballard of the Colts to try and get DeForest Buckner, or with the Kansas City Chiefs to get Chris Jones. Yes, I know he signed a 1-year deal, but I would still trade for him. Look, and when you're talking about the secondary, I love Jerry Jacobs, but why is he covering DK Metcalf when it's a one-sided beatdown? I mean, seriously, 12 receptions for 180 yards and 3 TDs on Jerry. That is ridiculous, and I cannot wait for Emmanuel Mosley to get healthy because, my God. And I kind of feel like this would have happened with the Kansas City Chiefs if their wide receivers have capitalized on this. I mean, what ultimately killed them was the quick and short passing game, which was limited by the pass rush. I think now, guys, is the time to put pressure on Aaron Glenn because 136 points against the Seahawks in 3 years is really, really, really bad. Okay, and I'm a fair guy, so the offense gave up 21 points off turnovers for a total of 68 yards in those situations, so the defense was always put in a rough spot, but there was no adjustments, and poor personnel scheming throughout the game was unacceptable. I personally thought there was way too much zone coverage in this game, but that's just my opinion. And dropping edge defenders into coverage and asking them to cover tight ends is not it at all. There was no stunts at all, and I thought it was really funny how Jack Campbell was actually lined up on the outside shoulder of a tackle as a pass rusher. I mean, he's not Micah Parsons. Like, why are you doing that? Like, when you have 10 days to prepare for an opponent, please not get fucking cute. And I'm going to give him a break because he held Kansas City to 20 points, but Jesus, like, I hope this does not go on the rest of the season. And I wouldn't really say Dan Campbell was a loser today. There was a couple times where he was like overly aggressive, and I'm not going to put that on him because I'm always a firm believer like you need to go for it in certain situations, and I feel like most of the time Dan Campbell does that, but today it was like an overstep. I mean, because there were at least 2 times where the Lions opted to go for it on 4th down instead of trying to take the points and failed both times. And there was another instant, later in the game where they gave the Seahawks the ball in their own territory. And when you needed to be really aggressive the most at the end, when you get the ball back under 2 minutes, your defense makes a stop on a backpedal from Geno Smith, an Anzalone sack. You have one of the worst clock management situations I've ever seen from the Lions. Like, for me, I don't understand why they weren't playing to win the game. They were playing so soft and conservative at the end there. Like, you have 3 timeouts with 2 minutes left to go. They let the clock bleed 30 seconds. It went from 58 seconds to 30 seconds before snapping the ball again, and then just ran it down to 2 seconds to kick the field goal. Overtime is a crapshoot. Your offense was humming and bussing all fucking day. Like, go to win the game. It's 3 points. I know you want to go into overtime, but your defense hasn't done anything. Oh, that literally pissed me off the final 2 minutes. And I'm not even going to get in the whole penalties thing that happened throughout the game. There were bad calls on both teams. So, I mean, the holding at the end of Aiden Hutchinson, yeah, it probably was. And yeah, he should have talked about it afterwards. But there's nothing you really can do. The Lions played to lose. They played crappy. And that's okay. It's week 2 of the season. We got a long season ahead. It's just frustrating that they lose a game that they should have won. And I know there were a lot of injuries too, but I don't care. They should have won this game. That's why it's frustrating. And it's also even more because the Lions have lost to the Seahawks 6 times straight. But I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think down below about the game. It was weird, definitely, but, they needed a wake-up call for sure. But I'll see you guys next time. Peace.